Welcome to the month of May. Welcome back to Oklahoma Sportscene at the Hard Rock Casino, the Replay Sports Bar. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln.
I'm Grant Merrill, and it's a fun place to be here at the Hard Rock Casino in Tulsa because they've got plenty going on over the next month. Let's talk about some of the concerts that are coming to town. If you love country music, which I know you do, Chris.
Absolutely.
You'll love Doug Stone. He's, of course, one of the champion country singers of the 90s, and he'll be here on May 26th. I know that coming up, we've got Lori Morgan. Why didn't we think of that? That we've got her coming on May 4th, free concert inside the Hard Rock Live. All you need is your one-star rewards card to get in. And then David Faraday, he's on the Golf Channel.
That's right.
He's also a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be coming to do his show here at the Hard Rock. So plenty going on. Just log on to the website, take a look at their schedule, and do come out here. It's going to be a lot of fun in the month of May.
And we got a fun lineup for you today on Oklahoma Sports Scene. We're going to start with the man himself, Barry Switzer. Legendary Oklahoma head football coach just introduced a new NIL, name, image, likeness program for the University of Oklahoma students. He'll talk about that with us. We also have a new branding for the University of Tulsa, and Rick Dickson, our athletic director, will join us for that.
Oral Roberts University has a brand new basketball coach. She's a fireball. Kelsi Musick coming to Tulsa from Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford, where she took that team to a national championship 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now in 2019. We'll talk to her about that. And have you ever been on an equestrian team? You've been around a lot of horses.
No,
probably.
I've covered a lot of equestrian events, but nothing like that Oklahoma State program, huh? Wow.
I was telling you earlier, the closest I've ever come to an equestrian team is watching you host the Kentucky Derby coverage on ESPN back in the day. So, it's going to be a fun interview that we have with Coach Wayne Sanchez. We'll find out exactly what makes an equestrian team and what makes a national championship equestrian team at Oklahoma State University.
And, of course, this Saturday is the Run for the Roses, the 146th Kentucky Derby, and we'll be giving a preview of that. They've drawn for the post. We'll talk about the race favorites for that as well. Now let's get to our hot topics, and the hottest topic going is a tiger prowling Southern Hills. There's a tiger spotting at Southern Hills this past week. He flew in his private jet, golf's #1 attraction, and played a full 18-hole round at Southern Hills on the course. It's going to be a course set for the PGA Championship, May 19th to 22nd. An event Tiger won the last time the PGA was here. That was back in 2007. And our friend Southern Hills Director of Golf was on the bag for Tiger.
Yeah, he was. And I got to tell you, I was driving up Harvard Avenue the day he was there, and I did not realize he was in town. I saw these people peeping through the fence. I'm like, what's going on over here?
Oh, it's a tiger
Tiger's
sighting.
here, man. That's awesome. And I'm glad that he got to come, and glad that he's going to be here. It's going to bring a whole new dynamic to this PGA Championship.
And Kerry Cosby, Southern Hills Director of Golf, is committed to being with us again on the show next week. So you want to be sure to watch that and let him tell you about the insides of Tiger Woods' practice round and who he thinks might be in this PGA field. He feels pretty certain that Tiger will be in the field. And of course, what an exciting week it was for our area football players. The National Football League draft, the 87th NFL draft. League players last week in Las Vegas. First in our state was a college player taken not from the University of Oklahoma, not from Oklahoma State, but a Golden Hurricane, the Dallas Cowboys, with the 24th pick in the 2022 National Football League draft, selected the University of Tulsa offensive lineman Tyler Smith, 6'6", 325, two-year letterman, two-time All-American, played 25 games in his 23 starts. And here's the moment. Tyler Smith heard from Dallas that he was a Dallas Cowboy.
Ain't no feeling like it, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, we are here pitching ourselves. Yes, sir. Ain't too many teams like America's teams, sir.
24th pick.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing me
In the
home.
2022 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Smith, tackle Tulsa.
This is wild to me, man. I don't even know what to say.
You did it, Tyler. We're so happy for you. Your hard work has paid off.
Well, he's just the fourth player in school history to be chosen in the first round of the NFL draft, joining Glenn Dobbs, who was part of the Chicago Cardinals' third pick back in 1943.
That's before me even.
I was about to say, that's when your career was just getting started, wasn't it? You covered that draft. Steve August with the Seattle Seahawks, he was the 14th pick back in 1977. You did cover that one.
I did indeed.
And Zaven Collins, the Arizona Cardinals' 16th pick. Tulsa's 2 first-round draft picks in the last 2 years were two-star prospects coming out of high school. Guess what, Chris?
Yeah.
Do you know how many picks the University of Texas had?
How many?
Zero.
We love to hear that. How about that? I mean, it's so amazing, the University of Tulsa. We'll talk with Rick Dickson later on, the athletic director, about this. But for this school, smallest enrollment, any Division I school, around 3,000 or so, and have back-to-back years of #1 NFL draft. Not OU, not OSU, TU. That says something.
Even Cliff Harris's Ouachita Baptist Tigers out of Arkadelphia, Arkansas, got them an NFL
And
draft
Texas
pick.
again had.
And Texas had none.
I love it.
So,
But the very first of our Big Four area football players to get the call was Razorback.
Yeah,
Go ahead, bud.
Traylon Burks out of Warren, Arkansas, of course, picked 18th in the first round by the Tennessee Titans. Lots of brand new Titans fans in Arkansas right now. I saw it on social media. They were all buying merchandise. Burks is the first Razorback taken in the first round since our man Darren McFadden was taken 4th overall back in 2008. That was a great night for Arkansas.
Great running back.
And, of course, we have a few more local products.
We
that were
do.
taken.
Former Booker T. Washington High School star Daxton Hill, a junior safety from the University of Michigan, became the 5th Hornet picked in the NFL draft first round. He was selected 31st overall by the Cincinnati Bengals. Booker T. Washington, the amazing Tulsa school, has had these first-round draft picks going back to Felix Jones, 2008, Robert Meacham, 2007, R.W. McQuarters, 1998, Reuben Gant, 1974, and now Daxton Hill. We're efforting to get one of these guys on the show with us next week. In all, 12 players were selected from Oklahoma schools, 7 from OU, 3 for OSU, 2 for TU. Nick Benito, the first Sooner taken, linebacker picked 64th overall, the final pick of the second round, picked by Denver. The first Cowboy taken, former Wagner High star Malcolm Rodriguez, linebacker, taken 188 in the 6th round. I think he'd go higher than that. The leading tackler in the Big 12. Great player.
Absolutely. Oklahoma's 7 overall selections led the Big 12 and were tied with Alabama for the 5th most of any program. The 7 picks were also tied for OU's 2nd most in a single draft since 2005. It's the 15th straight year that the Sooners have produced at least 4 NFL draft picks. Good for the longest streak in the country. OU with 409 all-time NFL draft picks. That is the 5th most nationally.
Draft also the first since 1984 that each of OU's 4 picks were defensive players. Who says OU can't play defense? How about that? All right, let's give you an update on the Tulsa Oilers. We really don't know. We tape on Monday. They're playing for their lives Monday night. They could face elimination. They're in Utah. They trail in the series 3-2 in the best-of-7 series. They've got to win on Monday night to force another game. They lost Sunday 5-1, Game 6 tonight. And we'll have a recap, and I believe the coach will join us on the set here next week. NCAA president to retire. There's a story for you, and most people aren't too sad about that.
Well, there's a lot of good luck and good riddance out there
exactly.
on social media as Mark Emmert announces his retirement. He led them through a period of enormous growth, also led them through a lot of turmoil.
Wow.
He'll retire a year from now. He and the association's governing board agreed in a mutual decision.
That's
you know
fired.
how that's
Yeah.
fired, yeah. Emmert has led the NCAA since November of 2010, and what a lot of turmoil he did lead them.
Unbelievable. And the NCAA is in a lot of trouble, too, for sure. Tulsa Drillers update for you now. The Drillers started the week in first place still, in a tie, actually, with Wichita. The Texas League North Division, they are in Wichita this week for a big 6-game series. The home series comes back to One Oak Field to include Frisco May 10th to the 15th, and also Springfield Cardinals come here to wrap up the month of May 24th to 29th. Get out there and support the Drillers.
Absolutely. And guess who got to sing the national anthem at the Northwest Arkansas Naturals game, one of the Tulsa Drillers rivals?
Is that right?
That would be Molly Merrill. I've
No
got a picture.
way.
I got to show her off. She
Absolutely.
sung her choir from Greenwood, Arkansas. Got to sing
Your
the
granddaughter?
national anthem. My daughter.
Oh, yes.
My
Sorry,
daughter.
sorry.
No
Sorry about that.
grandchildren
Sorry
yet.
about that. Sorry about that.
Don't speak it into existence.
Well, congratulations, Molly. Well
yeah.
done.
Let's
it
go
was
to-
my granddaughter that sang the anthem at the Oilers hockey
Yes,
game. That's okay.
yes.
Now I get there.
Well, let's go to Baylor. They've got a championship quarterback, and he's in the
you
transfer
believe
portal.
this?
How about that?
He was a co-Big 12 Player of the Year, led the Baylor Bears to a co-Big 12 championship, of course, with Oklahoma State. Then they won the Big 12 title game. And this guy has now entered the portal and is leaving Baylor University.
Yeah, he is. And, of course, he started 12 of the 14 games, threw for 2,200 yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the year, 323 rushing yards, and 9 touchdowns, all that and more, and he's going to hit the road.
Gary Bohan leaving Baylor University to try somewhere else in his final year. Well, all this going on, the portal, the NIL, name, image, likeness, it's just wild in college athletics. They say it's the wild, wild west again. And we're going to have a guy tell us all about it. None other than the king himself here in Oklahoma, Barry Switzer, legendary Hall of Fame football coach at OU, has just introduced a new name, image, likeness program for OU athletes. Coach Switzer, straight ahead on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Swing in for $220,000 drive for show, putt for dough at Hard Rock Tulsa. Join us Saturdays in May at 6 p.m., 8 p.m., and 10 p.m. for your chance to win a lifted golf cart and putt for a shot at $10,000 cash at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Tulsa's top spot for a good time awaits you. Come experience award-winning entertainment and nightlife. Escape and relax. Savor every bite. Then bring it all in for your encore. Only at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Voted Tulsa's best.
The world's fastest athletes are racing live at Remington Park, March 3rd through May 28th. Catch the quarter horse action Thursday through Sunday, March 3rd through May 28th. Enjoy winning racing excitement and jackpot play in the casino. Send your heart racing at Remington Park.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene here at the Hard Rock Casino and with Grant Merrill. And Grant, we've been efforting, thanks to your efforts, on trying to link up Coach Switzer and me with Zoom and all the stuff we're trying to do, and we're just not very good at it. Grant, we tried to Barry and try to talk him through it, and it's been hard enough for you to coach me up at this thing.
Well, I know that occasionally we have those issues, and they're just a little bit. There was a technical issue, of course, with our call, and we just weren't able to talk Coach Switzer through it. But we have had him on the show many times before, and we're able to really kind of ask him about the NIL. And if you're just joining us, what we're talking about is his new One Oklahoma Collective, which he formed just in the recent month or so. He's got a CEO that will take care of the operations. But, you know, Chris, one of the things about this is that when we talked to him in September, this was just the week of September 17th, when OU was playing Nebraska, NIL was very brand new, and he wasn't just a fan of it quite yet.
Yeah, in fact, we talked about that. Grant, I asked him about both the portal and the NIL. Here's Barry Switzer back in September when NIL was just hitting the market. Let's listen to the coach back then.
You know, I don't know if many halfbacks would have had a chance, but there are not many quarterbacks that have ever gone into the portal that would help us. But us, you know, we would obviously be running a different offense today. We'd be running the wishbone out of the spread. We'd motion in the lineup, be able to run the triple option on the plays we want to run from it. But it would be a different deal. What I don't like is the players that's in NIL. And the problem it's going to cause, it's open Pandora's box, and it's allowed a third party to get involved in recruitment. And that's an agent coming into the home to talk to the parents about. They're not representing any schools, but I bet you they will tell players, if you go to this school, I get you more money if you're autographed. You can't if you go to this school. And I don't know how the NCAA polices that. It's just something we're going to have to contend with, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm really concerned. I'm concerned about what kind of morale it's going to cause on the football team. Sure. You're the star quarterback and you're making $1 million, and the old right guard out there is not making anything. And the guy misses 3 or 4 passes that have made the difference in the game or for touchdowns, and won the game. And you're busting your ass to protect him, and he isn't performing, but he's getting paid a lot of money.
Well, that was then. This is now. And yes, Coach Switzer was kind of gone with the plan here. The plan, he said, is for players to use their work with nonprofit organizations throughout the state of Oklahoma in a way that they can earn money during their time in Oklahoma. And granted, it's significant money. They're talking about $40,000 to $50,000 per football player with this program.
Yeah, each player gets the opportunity to earn that money. And, you know, that's one of the things that Coach was talking about back in September on that clip that you saw. You heard him say, well, you know, what's going to happen is that the quarterback's going to be getting all this money and nobody's going to care about the right guard over here. And, you know, I think one of the things that it sounds like this is going to do is kind of level the playing field, at least for some of the players. Now, I think you're always going to have the Spencer Rattlers and the Caleb Williams deals where, you know, we heard that they were driving cars and, you know, getting significant amounts of money to endorse products and things like that. But this makes sure that everybody on the team, whether you're the right guard, whether you're the quarterback, or, you know, no matter what position you're playing, that you get a chance to profit just like everybody else, and that there's more of a level playing field, and there's not so much, I guess, you know, jealousy or infighting that could happen when money's involved, when one person's getting more than another for kind of an equal effort in the work.
Yeah, and you mentioned Barry's name, the executive officer for this, his chief executive officer for the One Oklahoma Collective is Scott Williams. Said it's a great way for athletes to get involved in the community and also earn their worth. It said makes a difference. Here's this quote from Scott Williams: "Making a difference and positively impacting the community has been the vision of our entire team of founders since day one. The spirit aligns with the standards set forth by the University of Athletic Program, aligns with the statewide Oklahoma Standard," Williams initiative, Williams said, "and prompts the culture of citizens making a difference through acts of service." Switzer also added, interesting, that he would like the collective ultimately to open to all Oklahoma athletes, not just football players. And right now it's set up for starters. One Oklahoma provides unique NIL opportunities for football, men's basketball, and women's softball, and the vision of expansion to other sports. But at least it's going to sound like a positive thing all the way around, Grant.
Well, you know, I know that they want to be equal to both men's and women's sports. And of course, Oklahoma is blessed with women's sports that seem to stand out a little more than other schools with the success of the OU softball team. And, you know, they'll be able to do a lot of things that haven't been done in the past. And, you know, the thing that I've heard over and over and over about this NIL bill, that it is the wild, wild west. Nobody really has a clue as to what's appropriate, what's legal, what's going to happen, you know, and I think the nonprofit angle is something that's kind of interesting to watch for me, because of the fact that, you know, because they're doing nonprofit work, you have to wonder, well, okay, is this a 501c3, this Oklahoma Collective? And all of a sudden, if you're giving money as a donor, is this all tax deductible now? I mean, you know, it could be something that ends up being a pretty lucrative deal for somebody who has a lot of disposable money and needs some tax write-offs. You know, they can do that and support their team at the same time. Now, I don't know for a fact that that's how it's working, but you can kind of put all the pieces together, and you would think something like that might be possible.
Yeah, and you know, all the universities, it seems like I've heard about with NIL, have now set up their own kind of counseling, special areas to help these young men, not only their negotiations, but also how to handle the money, taxes, all things that go with that, of course. We talked to Rick Dickson, the University of Tulsa athletic director. In fact, he'll be on the show later with some other subjects, but he mentioned that he would set that up for his players, give them a chance to get some professional advice in accounting, in legal advice, because it is a pretty deep waters they're getting into now, Grant. It's big time stuff, and you're going to take some real experts to help these kids out.
Well, you're seeing a lot of these universities and a lot of these donors from universities start to go the nonprofit route. I know in Arkansas, the heirs of J.B. Hunt, you know, Jonell, his wife, and his son Brian, and his daughter-in-law, they formed a similar deal like this for Razorback players. It's also nonprofit, allows them to make some money and, again, do community service as well. So, you know, it kind of brings all of these different aspects together that you like to see, where kids are able to give back to their community and make a little money while doing it. And, you know, again, gives an opportunity for donors to have a legitimate organization to give to, whether it be a business, a corporation, or an individual, when they want to see these players do well. Because if NIL's here, might as well take advantage of it.
And it's totally legal, of course. The NCAA is throwing their hands up there, so it's all yours now. They've got nothing to do with it. I know so many coaches were so frustrated, Grant, in their years that they couldn't even pay for a kid's plane ticket to go home to a family member's funeral or something.
Right.
They couldn't give a bowl ticket to a kid. It was just suffocating. Then, meanwhile, they're selling the T-shirts of Joe Washington and Troy Aikman and everything else, and profiting off that as well. So I think I'm trying to get a balance here. And, you know, the University of Oklahoma has been very innovative in really standing up for the student athlete. In fact, they and the University of Georgia, Barry reminded me of this. We talked back in 1981, Grant. They were the ones that filed a antitrust suit against NCAA and network television, saying, "Hey, we want to have these rights. It should be our rights." Remember that back then, of course, you would have, but there was maybe one college game, two at the most, always Notre Dame and somebody else. Now there's 30, 40 games on a weekend. That's all thanks to OU and Georgia and the suit they filed against the antitrust suit against the NCAA and network TV. And that, I think Barry's taking this now, because you mentioned one of the first things you heard, remember this NIL program was the University of Texas. Had a big money guy said, if you were a 4 or 5 star offensive lineman, signed to the University of Texas, you'll get $50,000 a year to play for Texas. And it's all legal, and I think they're trying to catch up now. No use of this should provide their football players with each $40,000, $50,000 a year, plus positively impact the community.
Well, you know, they're now legalizing what it's been suspected that's been going on behind the scenes at many, many schools over the years. I mean, you hear about the suitcases full of money and the different things that have happened over the years and the things that they've gotten mailed by. And, you know, now it's just really changed the way that college athletics is going to operate. It may be no wonder that Mark Emmert is out the door today. You know, of course, that was one of the things we went over in our headlines, that he is stepping down as president of the NCAA. And you almost wonder if the NCAA will cease to exist at some point, because really, outside of rules and regulations inside the game, they're losing their power, and they're losing it quickly.
Yeah, and we're heading, without question, to 4 or 5 super conferences, and total realignment's coming very soon, I'm sure. Well, Grant, I'm sure disappointed we couldn't line up with Coach Switzer there and talk him through technically. His wife Becky wasn't home, so that messed up the whole deal. So Coach got frustrated, so he kind of blew us off. But I think we kind of filled the gaps here, and hope you guys enjoyed that. Coming up next, Brian, we're talking to University of Tulsa Vice President, Athletic Director Rick Dickson. He's going to talk about the new branding for the TU athletic program. So stay with us. The New Oklahoma Sports Scene. Right back.
Phil defeats Father Time.
In May of 2022, the PGA Championship returns to historic Southern Hills Country Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Come watch as drama, excitement, and history unfold. Visit PGAchampionship.com/2022 for a list of remaining ticket options.
Swing in for $220,000 drive for show, putt for dough at Hard Rock Tulsa. Join us Saturdays in May at 6 p.m., 8 p.m., and 10 p.m. for your chance to win a lifted golf cart and putt for a shot at $10,000 cash at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Tulsa's top spot for a good time awaits you. Come experience award-winning entertainment and nightlife. Escape and relax. Savor every bite. Then bring it all in for your encore. Only at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Voted Tulsa's best.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice. With a new owner, a new look, and a new attitude. Save big on season tickets today. Full season and half season starting as low as $17 per month. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team. Your Tulsa Oilers are back.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, and we're joined now, as we have been many times, by the Vice President, Director of Athletics at University of Tulsa, a good friend, Rick Dickson. And Rick, so much going on the campus there, and a lot of talk about rebranding, about burying the old Captain Super Kane, and also, to me, I know you've been working on this for a while, but it seemed to really take off at that pep rally we all attended March 22nd when you introduced the new basketball coach, Eric Kunkel. There's a great spirit right now at TU.
Yeah, I think so, Chris. There seems to be a great groundswell of enthusiasm and optimism, and a lot of it coincides, with a couple things. One is, as you mentioned at the top, we undergone a complete kind of remake and rebranding of everything from our making sure that we're presenting a very clean and classic TU look with our primary colors, royal blue and metallic gold, and our one sole logo, which is the script Tulsa with the hurricane flag backdrop. We've kind of evolved over time, which happens with a lot of transition, and all of a sudden there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen and everybody wants to take their shot at the best remake. You know, a lot of interior decorators, but we boiled it back down to some of our classic and clean and historical looks. Part of that was refreshing our mascot, which we're underway with. I think the main thing was we had some great events, as you mentioned, the launching and the announcement of Eric Conkle as our new men's basketball coach. Came off a very successful, most successful women's basketball season in a number of years. So there's a lot of enthusiasm in that program, and I think with Eric's arrival, a lot of optimism about what lies ahead there. And we've done some other things to re-engage with our fan base and with Tulsa. That's always been the key to success at TU, is being tightly connected and joined at the hip with the community. You know, we're not the size that just depend on our student body and alumni base. You know, our bread and butter and our strongest surge of support has always come from the community. And TU's probably not done the job it should have over the last couple of decades of cultivating that, and that's a real focus and effort for us.
Rick, you know, one of the mandates that you kind of gave during this whole coaching search for men's basketball was to get people back in the seats at your arena, and, you know, for football, and just, as you said, re-engage with Tulsa. And I know that, you know, changing and updating these logos and mascots has to pour some fuel on that fire and just generate a buzz that you guys might not have had in several years.
Grant, it kind of feels that way. You know, I've only been around the last 18 months, and in the first 9, we didn't get to the opportunity to invite fans just because of the circumstances we were all dealing with. And so I really got a sense of it this year after going through football and basketball. And you know, we were only 2 years off of winning or tying for the conference basketball championship, and then had 2 successful football seasons, but I didn't even along the way and through the process sense the kind of connection that I was used to, you know, over almost 25 years ago, and which alarmed me, for one, and two, you know, just kind of heightened the need and urgency of reconnecting. Again, having grown up here, been part of it, student athlete here, and then AD, got to launch a career here. There's no magic to this. That's the formula. It always has been for TU. Is that it's actually for both city schools, for Oral Roberts as well. As you know, we'll go as far as this city lifts us, and that only happens when both of us. You know, it's up to us to initiate that connection and that partnership and that kind of a relationship in our communities, because Tulsa is a college community. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, we always have been. That's the identity of it. Even if it's not a TU and ORU direct affiliation, there's always been strong support in this community for the other state schools and some area schools. But we have to be prominent in that as well, and we've got to do our part. So that's really what we've been focusing on, is doing our part and initiate that cultivation.
TU Athletic Director Rick Dickson joining us. And Rick, a little added excitement this past week with the National Football League draft, and with the 24th pick in the very first round, the Dallas Cowboys gave the name Tyler Smith, lineman, University of Tulsa. That's 2 years in a row, back-to-back first-rounders for TU, the smallest enrollment school in Division I. Wow.
You know, that's something, isn't it, Chris? That's
amazing.
Really an accomplishment. It's a great achievement. I'm so happy for the young men, and as well as last year, and then Chris Paul, our other draft choice, who's a fine ambassador for a university and a community. As I've been around in my 30 plus years of doing this, we said when the draft was announced and it was the Washington Commanders, said that's perfect because however long that career lasts, he's in the right place because we'll probably see him as the leader of this country soon.
Wow.
And so he's in the right place. And then 4 additional young men that signed free agent contracts later in the day, Saturday after the conclusion. So I'm proud for all of them. Happy for TU. It's great, like you said, Chris. It just goes to show you that quality football is being played at all levels. You don't have to have the biggest stadium or the biggest arena or whatever it is to showcase yourself, and these young men have done that.
We had Coach Montgomery on a couple of weeks ago, and he was very excited about the spring game and what he was able to see from his football team. Kind of talk about that from your perspective, and also a recap of spring sports.
Yeah, the spring's been great. I've had a number of fun and fan-friendly activities, highlighted by our Hall of Fame weekend in April. We had a lead-in all-comers party as we relaunched the Golden Hurricane Club to the new Golden Hurricane Champions Fund. We had a fun speakeasy casino night with a lot of great prizes, and over 650 people attend. The next night was the Hall of Fame, where we inducted Tubby Smith, the 1971 College World Series team, our first individual men's track champion, and the National Player of the Year in men's soccer. So we had a great turnout for both. That was wrapped around the spring football game on that Saturday morning, and all of it. And I think Philip was very pleased with a lot of new faces. With that extra COVID year, we'd had a very veteran team the last 2 years, but a lot of new faces there and a lot of good young talent. So a lot of promise on hand for that. So it's kind of created a great spring for us and set the table for our spring sports to have energy around it, a lot of support, a lot of activity on campus. And those are the things you want to see happen.
Well, Rick, part of your job is selling tickets, so let's sell some football tickets. A great season schedule. You've got a schedule put together. I don't feel bad for Coach Montgomery. 7 bowl teams are on this schedule. We're going to be hosting one of the teams on the Final Four for the national championship run when Cincinnati comes here October 1st. It all gets underway, of course, at Wyoming on September 3rd, then home for 2 games, Northern Illinois, Jacksonville State. Great schedule for the Golden Hurricane.
Yeah, Keith, it is. And, first ever trip, to my knowledge, to Oxford, Mississippi. So for those that want to go along with us, I can tell you firsthand from being at other places, the tailgating in Oxford's pretty strong. So if we can roll out something that matches that this year at TU, we've hit a home run. But it's going to be an exciting year for us. Can't wait for this new group of guys to get their legs under them. And as you said, very rigorous schedule. We play a top-notch schedule. It's part of being in this league for us. It's probably the highest level of conference competition that University of Tulsa has ever been part of year in and year out. So a lot of excitement about both our basketball programs. We've always historically been strong, as you guys know, in the Olympic sports, in our tennis and golf. And we've got, I think, one of the premier track and cross country coaches in the country in Steve Gully. I think over 21 combined championships now that he's won, and just sets the bar high for everyone. So it's a good time for us to be home, to be back. It's a good time for Tulsa to reach out and reconnect with its home community, like we have historically. And I'm enjoying the efforts of kind of being that connector and facilitator to make that happen again.
Rick Dickson, we're thrilled too with your new 3-year contract. You're not very good at that interim thing, are you, Rick? Good to have you full time again, buddy.
Chris, because we were both around the first time. That's how it started the first time. It's funny. When they talk about the circle of life, I guess this is it in terms of the AD life.
Well, we're glad you're with us at TU. Again, you fans, get in touch with TU. Get those season tickets purchased. Thanks for joining us, Rick. Sure appreciate it.
Thanks.
All the best.
Yeah, stay safe.
We're going to join ORU's new women's basketball coach straight ahead on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
It's the crack of the bat and the smell of hot dogs. It's children's laughter and Hornsby dancing. It's the tradition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game and our state song sung together. It's family time and first dates. It's hugs from friends you haven't seen in a while and high fives from strangers after a Drillers win. It's the fun. It's the tradition. It's the excitement. It's Drillers baseball. It's so much more. Memberships for the 2022 season are on sale now.
Bill Haston, Tulsa World Sports columnist, Tulsa World staff member since 1990, and you're watching the Oklahoma Sports Scene with my man Chris Lincoln and Grant Merrill.
Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over.
Times may change, but the feeling stays the same.
Stay up and keep it undercover. I just want to use your love tonight. Oh, I don't want to lose.
Live your greatest hits at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tulsa.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
We welcome you back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, presented by the Cherokee Nation. Our pleasure to welcome in the brand new head women's basketball coach at Oral Roberts University, and that is Kelsi Musick. She is brand new to Tulsa, but no stranger to the state of Oklahoma. Of course, a very prominent coach at Southwestern Oklahoma State for the last decade out in Weatherford. Coach, welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I know that the Golden Eagle program is definitely in good hands now. We've seen what you were able to do in the Great American Conference over the last 10 years or so. And just tell us what stood out to you in your talks with Oral Roberts and your decision to make a move.
You know, just the opportunity to hopefully bring this program back to the level in which they want to be. I think the administration, the athletic directors have a phenomenal vision for this program, and that's one thing that was extremely enticing to me, the support and just the eagerness to be able to want to support women's basketball and help us to rise up to the level in which we should be in the Summit League. So I'm just extremely honored and grateful for this opportunity to, you know, just kind of change the face of ORU women's basketball.
Coach, you still have the record, 8 20-win seasons, been a Great American Conference champion 4 times. You've been Coach of the Year of that league 5 times. What I was impressed with, though, your Lady Bulldogs have been among the top 10 Division II scoring teams, averaging 80 points a game in 7 of the last 9 seasons. So give us an idea, what kind of team will you put on the floor at Oral Roberts? What kind of style will the Golden Eagle fans see at the Mabee Center?
I'm expecting and planning to put an exciting display of women's basketball on the floor here at the Mabee Center. It's going to be up tempo, high octane. You know, we're going to get up and down the floor. We're going to play fast. We're going to share the basketball. My goal is to have, you know, a handful of players and double scoring, and just a really fun style of basketball. Our philosophy is we love layups and we like 3-pointers, and I think that's a really fun style of basketball for people to come out and support and watch. And I think this, with the returners we have and the players we're potentially going to bring in, we will really have a great combination to compete at a high level with a high octane offense.
You know, Coach, I live about 3 blocks from the Mabee Center, and every time we drive by there, there's some new project going on to renovate that place. And, you know, with all the excitement that has happened with Paul Mills and the guys' team over the last 2 years with their Sweet 16 appearance, and now you coming in with the women's team, it looks like that they are really making basketball a priority at that school, and that's really got to feel good to have that support.
Absolutely. It's like I said, one of the reasons that was so enticing, and one of the reasons that this job was such a huge opportunity, and I'm just grateful. But with the new projects being built, the new academic center, the new practice gyms, everything that's going up in the new facility, it's just going to look phenomenal. It's going to be a great recruiting tool, but it's just going to make the Mabee Center stand out even more, which it already does. I think the architecture and everything that this campus represents is just a great tool to use for recruiting. And I think that the support that the administration and the athletic department is putting behind men's and women's basketball, it's going to be an exciting time here at the Mabee Center, a night in and night out with men's and women's basketball.
Kelsi Musick is the 11th women's head basketball coach at Oral Roberts University, and from Southwestern Oklahoma State. After 13 seasons, 2009, 2021, 7 trips to the NCAA Division II National Tournament, including, what a run, Coach. Talk about that 2019 season with a 35-game win streak.
That was a phenomenal season. You know, we had a couple of All-Americans in Haley Tucker and Hayden Pretty that kind of led the way for us, but we started 5 Oklahoma girls on that team, which I think spoke volumes. We were able to play on national television, and we just had a really strong base with a good support, with a good, base as far as our bench came in and did a lot of great things that year. But just the determination and how they elevated their game night in and night out, and were able to take care of business. It was an amazing run. We were the 2 seed going into the regional tournament. We were able to beat Fort Hays on their home floor. I think that was one of the highest number of people in D2 history that year as far as a crowd goes. So it was a phenomenal atmosphere to be able to play in, to take us to that Elite 8 for the first time in school history as far as a Division II school at SWOSU. So, and just it really known for us to be able to also continue that legacy for the next couple of years recruiting wise as well.
You know, you said something just now that you really seem proud of, and you said we were able to take 5 Oklahoma girls. You're an Oklahoma girl yourself, having been born and raised in Canton and played basketball out there, had quite a career yourself, and I know that it's got to be important even at the D1 level to be able to recruit in-state girls. We have plenty of great product here in our state.
Absolutely. And I think that's one thing that we have to focus on recruiting wise is, I've always said that even at SWOSU, but I firmly believe that here at ORU as well. We can really keep for the great state of Oklahoma to come out and support and watch. I know when we made that run in 2019, we were the only Oklahoma team still playing basketball. So the whole state kind of rallied behind us, and we kind of put SWOSU on the map, even in the state of Oklahoma at that time, just by getting that national attention and making such a deep run. So keeping Oklahoma talent at home is definitely going to be a focus for my staff.
Well, Kelsi, the portal, of course, is open. I guess I heard that more than 1,400 athletes are in the portal. Are you looking into that, and how do you think that might help your Oral Roberts women's team?
Absolutely. Everyone has to take a look at the portal. I think that the one thing you have to do is make sure you find the right pieces. I run a system, so recruiting girls that fit our system, trying to keep some of those would be time, balancing out your classes so as you don't graduate too many at a time. So that perfect balance is one thing we're going for. In combining the right combination so we can win quickly. We don't want to try to build it. I feel like they have a solid foundation and a solid base here. We bring the right people in. We can really be going in the right direction really quickly.
As a coach, what's the most exciting thing about stepping onto that Oral Roberts campus? And as a mom, what's the most exciting thing for your family about coming to Tulsa?
Just the opportunity. I think that, like I said, the administrative athletic directors and their lead, they have one of the themes is all in. And I love that. I think you have to be all in and that's a great culture to be able to step behind and really represent. So just the opportunity that Oral Roberts has to offer as far as basketball wise, I think it's phenomenal with the new facilities. I mean, the recruiting process is that's just going to help us significantly. The Mabee Center, like I said, is already great. So just the opportunity to coach at this level and to really make a splash and really make ORU known in the Summit League, one of our top goals. And then just the opportunity to be in Tulsa with my family, for us to get settled here once my kids get out of school in Weatherford, just to make this move and all of us, to get settled and be here. And I just think that there's a lot of opportunity, not only for ORU women's basketball, but for my family as well.
Kelsi Musick, the new head basketball women's coach at Oral Roberts University. Welcome again to Tulsa. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene. I'm sure we'll be talking to you a lot during the next few seasons here, Kelsi. And again, congratulations. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
We'll come right back with a national champion team at Oklahoma State University. Stay with us.
It's the crack of the bat and the smell of hot dogs. It's children's laughter and Hornsby dancing. It's the tradition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game and our state song sung together. It's family time and first dates. It's hugs from friends you haven't seen in a while and high fives from strangers after a Drillers win. It's the fun. It's the tradition. It's the excitement. It's Drillers baseball. It's so much more. Memberships for the 2022 season are on sale now.
Swing in for $220,000 drive for show, putt for dough at Hard Rock Tulsa. Join us Saturdays in May at 6 p.m., 8 p.m., and 10 p.m. for your chance to win a lifted golf cart and putt for a shot at $10,000 cash at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Tulsa's top spot for a good time awaits you. Come experience award-winning entertainment and nightlife. Escape and relax. Savor every bite. Then bring it all in for your encore. Only at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Voted Tulsa's best.
We're joined now on Oklahoma Sports Scene by the head coach of the national champion Oklahoma State Equestrian team, Coach Larry Sanchez. Larry, you're not just the coach, you're the only coach this program has ever had. Congratulations, Coach. Tell us about this great run at OSU, your 24th season, correct?
Yeah, correct. I started my 24th year in January. So.
Wow. Well, it was a magical season for you. Talk about this team that won the national championship, beating number 3 Texas A&M 11-9, and just had an incredible record, 15-2 all season long.
Yeah, you know, any coach will tell you every now and again you'll have a team that comes along that truly meshes and gels and buys into the culture that we have here at Oklahoma State, and this year was no different. We were very proud of the way the team came around this season, and it culminated in us reaching both goals of winning the Big 12 championship and the NCAA national team.
Okay, Coach, I'm totally a novice. The closest that I've come to equestrian sports is watching Chris Lincoln host Kentucky Derby coverage back in the day. So tell us, for those of us that don't really know what it is that you guys do, what kind of events are you participating in and preparing for to win the Big 12 championship?
Well, we compete in 4 events with 2 disciplines. It's the jumping seat discipline and then the Western discipline. And we got 2 events in each. And in the jumping seat discipline, we have over fences, where it's like the jumping that you'll see in the Olympics. It's a little bit different in that they're not being timed and scored with faults like they do in the jumping. But it's more equitation over fences, where the girls are being judged on their form over the fences. And then they also have an event where they're judged on the flat. In the Western arena, we have reining, which is a very popular event here in Oklahoma. And we have the reining, and then we also have the horsemanship as well. So those are the 4 events that we compete in.
How many members on your team? Are you recruiting? Are you getting scholarships, half scholarships? How does that work for you, Coach Sanchez?
Well, I'm asked to carry 50 girls on my roster. That's 50. A lot of people say 15. No, we're asked to carry 50. And we've got 15 scholarships. The NCAA allows Equestrian to have the equivalency of 15 full scholarships. And so I break those scholarships up into partial. We recruit just like any other sport. We go to some of the top industry competitions in the country and try and find those top riders we believe are going to help our sport.
So when a student comes to OSU to be an equestrian, this is something I've always wondered. You know, the bond between rider and horse is pretty strong. So is it bring your own horse, or do you have a fleet of horses there?
No, we have about 55 head of horses that we maintain here at Oklahoma State. And the one thing about collegiate equestrian that makes it so nice is that the school provides the horses that are used. During the regular season, however, when we host a competition, we provide the horses for both teams. And when we travel on the road, we ride the host school's horses wherever we go. Now, the way that it works is there's one girl from each team that rides one horse in that event, and whoever scores higher on that horse scores a point per.
See, before this, Larry, I guarantee you, only people knew about a horse was Bullet coming down the field there at Oklahoma State's stadium, right, watching football season and stuff. But now these girls, what a season! I just look at this again, Larry. Defeated the #1 overall ranked team, not once but 2 separate times. Lost only 1 meet over the last 5 months of the year. That's some kind of record.
Yeah, like I said, the girls really came together and bought into our culture and bought into our process, and was really riding at their best at the end of the season. It was one of those seasons that you couldn't script any better than we did. The 2 losses that we had, we definitely learned from those and were able to benefit from that come postseason.
Well, Larry, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. Congratulations again on, well, not just the championship for your squad, but the Oklahoma State University's very first women's national championship. You've got to be awful proud of that, too. Thank you, Coach. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more horses. Kentucky Derby previews straight ahead.
The world's fastest athletes are racing live at Remington Park March 3rd through May 28th. Catch the quarter horse action Thursday through Sunday, March 3rd through May 28th. Enjoy winning racing excitement and jackpot play in the casino. Send your heart racing at Remington Park.
It's the crack of the bat and the smell of hot dogs. It's children's laughter and Hornsby dancing. It's the tradition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game and our state song sung together. It's family time and first dates. It's hugs from friends you haven't seen in a while and high fives from strangers after a Drillers win. It's the fun. It's the tradition. It's the excitement. It's Drillers baseball. It's so much more. Memberships for the 2022 season are on sale now.
The 147th Kentucky Derby will be run this first Saturday of May, May the 7th here at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. The first show of the Triple Crown of Thoroughbred Racing. No better place to see it than Remington Park. What a big day of racing they've got. In fact, they'll start simulcasting racing for Churchill Downs at 9:30 in the morning. Then they'll be live with their race card at 12 o'clock. The Kentucky Derby set for sometime between 5:30, 5:45 our local time. Our track announcer Dale Day has more about the big day at Remington Park and their schedule, along with a great feature that our friend Richard Linehan put together on a jockey who's made an incredible comeback.
We move into the final third of the Remington Park Quarter Horse season, and there's a very nice race developing for the leading jockey race. There's one jockey in particular who is just happy to be part of the standings at all this season. Richard Linehan has a look at an incredible comeback story.
Jockey Jesus Salazar stood tall in the stirrups 3 times this Remington Park meet, solidly on both feet, celebrating stakes wins aboard O'Donovan Rosa in the SLM Big Daddy, signs of live wire in the $231,000 Oklahoma Paint Appaloosa Futurity, and Dreamsville in the $270,000 Remington Park Derby. Doesn't seem like that big a deal unless you consider he came close to losing a leg in a severe truck accident in 2019 and very nearly lost his life. He was riding at Remington Park and was 0 for 26 for the year, so he figured he better pick up some extra work and ride the next day in Kansas City.
Halfway into the drive, I don't know, I don't remember anything happened. I just came back to whenever the truck was rolling.
The next thing he felt was unbearable as they tried to extract him from the crushed cab of the truck.
They cut the seatbelt and then they tried pulling me out. And whenever they went to pulling me out, I believe if I remember really good, I went to feeling a lot of pain in my ankles, and I said, my feet. And they just pulled me and I passed out.
When he awoke a day later, he was in the hospital and doctors explained his injuries.
I shattered both of my ankles, broke my knee, and my valves were paralyzed. They had to reconstruct my left foot. We had 11 surgeries, and it's still crooked. They also had to grind over half of my heel bone off, so I don't have much of a heel bone in that foot. That's why sometimes you'll see me carrying my left leg. And in the right one, I have a pin and 2 plates and I believe 39 screws. Well, actually less now because we had to take a plate out and some screws. The hardest thing was seeing my daughter see me in that bad of a position and seeing the look on her face. I remember I was on the bed and she was on one of the chairs to the right. She would look at me, she'd look over at me, and she wouldn't. I see in the corner of my eye, and then she kind of get the biggest tear in slow motion, and she see me see her, and I remember she covered up her face with her coloring book like that.
Salazar is a fighter, and it never crossed his mind that he would not ride again. Unbelievably, after extensive rehab, Salazar rode his first official race in 2020, only a year after the accident.
back to 100%. I mean, being honest, I don't think I'll ever be back to 100%. I'd like to thank God. I'd like to thank each and every individual that stuck with me in the darkest times of my life, and to let them know that each win and all of my accomplishments is for all of us.
Jesus Salazar has managed to return to the top 10 in the standings with 11 wins, 9 second-place runs, and 9 in third from 75 mounts. He's winning 19% of his races and in the money 39% of the time. The Kentucky Derby is upon us. The big race is Saturday, May 7th. A special race card for Remington Park action begins at noon with the simulcast of the Kentucky Derby following live racing. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
And remember, for the Kentucky Derby, you never can be overdressed or have too big a hat. Witness my wife Becky and me at a recent Kentucky Derby. Yes, the bow tie, and Becky with, of course, the flyaway hat. Incredible. And remember, of course, the Kentucky Derby, Saturday on NBC. The post time approximately 5:57 our local time. $3 million Kentucky Derby. The favorite right now on the morning line, Bluegrass winner Zandon, trained by Chad Brown, who's never won the Derby despite all his championship horses. They're the 3-1 favorite. Drew the 10 post in the field of 20. Next, the Louisiana Derby winner, Epicenter. He is trained by Steve Asmussen. Second choice in the morning line, 7-2. He drew the number 3 post. Again, Kentucky Derby, approximately 5:57 on NBC. We'll have a complete wrap-up for you on our next Oklahoma Sports Scene show. Probably some special guests as well on the Derby. So enjoy the Kentucky Derby. Right back to wrap things up here on Sports Scene.
Swing in for $220,000 drive for show, putt for dough at Hard Rock Tulsa. Join us Saturdays in May at 6 p.m., 8 p.m., and 10 p.m. for your chance to win a lifted golf cart and putt for a shot at $10,000 cash at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Tulsa's top spot for a good time awaits you. Come experience award-winning entertainment and nightlife. Escape and relax. Savor every bite. Then bring it all in for your encore. Only at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa. Voted Tulsa's best.
It's the crack of the bat and the smell of hot dogs. It's children's laughter and Hornsby dancing. It's the tradition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game and our state song sung together. It's family time and first dates. It's hugs from friends you haven't seen in a while and high fives from strangers after a Drillers win. It's the fun. It's the tradition. It's the excitement. It's Drillers baseball. It's so much more. Memberships for the 2022 season are on sale now.
Wrapping up another fantastic week here on Oklahoma Sports Scene, and what a show we've had today. Appreciate Barry Switzer, the Equestrians, all of them coming on. Next week ought to be a great show as well. We're going to talk some PGA Championship golf once again. That's all the buzz in Tulsa, and none other than Kerry Cosby from Southern Hills. He'll be coming on with us to talk about the upcoming event.
Yeah, the director of golf has all kinds of inside information for you. He was on the bag when Tiger Woods came for his practice round. Rob Murray, the head coach of the Oilers hockey team, may have him on the set as well. And of course, we'll wrap up the Kentucky Derby, have some inside interviews there, and hopefully an NFL draft signee along in the area here too. Try to get one of them on the show as well. That's next Wednesday and Friday, 10:30 p.m. Saturday, 11 o'clock. You know it, statewide on Cox Channel 3, online at Game Day Oklahoma, and on Oklahoma Sports Scene on YouTube. So join us then. See you next week here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Have a great week.